The stars looked different from the observation deck of the medical ship Hope. Dr. June Park pressed his hand against the cool glass and watched the blue-green planet Nexus grow larger as they approached. After decades of work, humans had finally reached the stars and joined the Galactic Coalition 5 years ago. Beautiful, isn't it? Dr. Hana Kim stepped beside her husband, her medical uniform crisp and white against the darkness of space. June nodded. I still can't believe we're here. Our parents would never have imagined humans traveling between stars to help alien species. Hana smiled. And they certainly wouldn't have guessed that our medical skills would be our most valuable gift to the galaxy. It was true. When humans first made contact with the Coalition, they expected to be far behind in technology. And they were, in most areas. But in medicine, humans had developed techniques that shocked the galaxy. Centuries of warfare had pushed human medical science to incredible heights. Dr. Park, we'll be docking in 30 minutes, said the young communications officer. The mining disaster victims are being moved to the landing zone now. June nodded. Tell the medical teams to prepare. We'll need to move quickly. The disaster on Nexus had trapped over 300 miners when part of the planet's largest Keth crystal mine collapsed. The Coalition had asked for Earth's help specifically because human doctors were the best at treating crush injuries and radiation poisoning. I'll check the surgical units, Hana said, squeezing his hand before walking away. June watched her go with pride. His wife was Earth's leading expert on alien physiology. Together, they led the first major human medical mission to Coalition space. The success of this mission would open doors for more human doctors to work throughout the galaxy. 2 days later, the Earth medical teams had set up a full field hospital near the mine entrance. White tents spread across the dusty ground, each marked with the blue Earth medical symbol, a snake wrapped around a staff. Inside, human doctors worked alongside alien medical assistants to save lives. June wiped sweat from his forehead as he finished treating a young Ektari miner with multiple broken limbs. The insect-like aliens were tough, but their exoskeletons shattered badly in the collapse. You'll be walking again in about 2 weeks, he told the miner through his translator. Your children can visit tomorrow. The Ektari's compound eyes blinked. In what June had learned was gratitude. My people would have said I was finished, that I should be replaced, but you humans fix what others throw away. June smiled. That's what doctors do. As he stepped outside to get fresh air, a shadow fell across the camp. June looked up and felt his blood go cold. 3 large warships were descending through the clouds, their hulls marked with the sharp, angular symbols of the Varan Empire. Security. Alert, he shouted into his communicator. Unknown Varan ships approaching. But it was too late. Before the Coalition protection ships could respond, the Varan vessels opened fire, not on the mine, not on the nearby city, but directly on the medical tents. The first explosion threw June to the ground. The ringing in his ears blocked out the screams. He struggled to his feet and ran toward the surgical tent where Hana had been working. Hana, he shouted, pushing through panicking people. Hana. The surgical tent was gone. In its place was a smoking crater. June fell to his knees at the edge, his mind refusing to accept what his eyes were seeing. Around him, more explosions hit the other medical stations. The Varan ships were methodically destroying every tent marked with the medical symbol, ignoring all other targets. They were specifically targeting the doctors. 43 doctors dead, 36 medical staff injured, 8 medical ships destroyed. Admiral Taewon Lee's voice was flat as he read the report to the Emergency Security Council on Earth 2 days later. The large meeting room was silent, except for his words. The Varan Empire has issued a statement claiming that the attack was a necessary strategic action to prevent human interference in galactic affairs. June sat in the front row, his face blank. He had not slept since returning to Earth. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the burning medical tents. And what does the Coalition say? Asked President Wilson, her face grim. Admiral Lee's jaw tightened. They offer deep concern and diplomatic measures. They will not take military action against the Varine. The Coalition fears full-scale war. So they let them kill our doctors without consequences? General Rivera slammed his fist on the table. These were not soldiers, they were there to save lives. The Varen see no difference, Admiral Lee said. Their culture views medicine as weakness. They believe warriors should fight until death or victory. Healing the injured is seen as interfering with natural selection. Then why attack us? Asked a council member. Why not just ignore our medical teams? Admiral Lee looked directly at June. Because they fear us. Human medical knowledge is spreading through the galaxy. Species are beginning to question the Varen way. Our doctors can save people the Varen would let die. This makes us a threat to their power. President Wilson stood. Dr. Park, I'm deeply sorry for your loss. Your wife was a hero. June nodded, unable to speak. What do you recommend, Admiral? The President asked. Admiral Lee straightened. Before his military career, he had been a battlefield medic in the last Earth War. He understood medicine and combat both. The Varen have made a critical error, Madam President, he said. They think targeting our healers makes us weaker. They don't understand what happens when humans lose those who save lives. He walked to the display wall and brought up images of the destroyed medical camp. The Varen have studied our weapons, our ships, our conventional military tactics, but they have not studied our history. They don't know what humans become when our compassion is met with cruelty. What are you suggesting? President Wilson asked. Project Azrael, Madam President. It's a theoretical special forces concept we've been developing, using our medical knowledge not just to heal, but to fight in ways no other species has imagined. The audit room was silent. The Varen targeted our medics because they thought it would make us vulnerable, Admiral Lee continued. Instead, we will show them that understanding how to heal also means understanding exactly how to hurt. He turned to face the council. They think they know human warfare. They have no idea what we're capable of when pushed too far. President Wilson was quiet for a long moment. How quickly can this be implemented? 6 months for the first unit. She nodded slowly. Do it and find the right person to lead it. Admiral Lee looked at June, whose eyes now burned with quiet determination. I already have someone in mind, the Admiral said. As the meeting ended, June approached Admiral Lee. I want to help, he said, his voice hoarse from disuse. The Admiral nodded. I hoped you would. We need doctors who understand what's at stake. They targeted us because we heal, June said. Because we save lives. Yes. Then we'll show them the other side of that knowledge. June's hands clenched into fists. We'll show them why targeting Earth's medics was the worst mistake they could have made. Outside the building, rain began to fall on the Earth that humans had defended for thousands of years. Now they would take that fight to the stars, not just as warriors, but as something the galaxy had never seen before. Something the Varen would learn to fear. The military base on Europa was hidden beneath the moon's icy surface. Few people knew it existed, and even fewer knew what was being built inside it. 6 months had passed since the Nexus Massacre, as people now called it. Colonel Su-Min Choi walked through the steel hallway, her footsteps echoing against the walls. Before the attack, she had been a doctor. Now she was the leader of humanity's most secret project. Colonel Choi, a voice called from behind her. The new recruits have arrived. Su-Min turned to see Dr. June Park approaching. His face looked older than when she had last seen him 3 months ago. Grief had changed him, but it had not broken him. Thank you, Doctor, she said. Are they ready? June nodded. As ready as anyone can be for this. Together they walked to the main training area, a large room with high ceilings. 20 men and women stood at attention, wearing simple black uniforms. At ease, Su-Min said. The group relaxed slightly, but their eyes remained focused on her. My name is Colonel Su-Min Choi. 6 months ago, I was performing heart surgery on children. Now I'm building a weapon unlike anything the galaxy has seen. She walked slowly in front of the line, looking at each face. You are all here because you have 2 skills that rarely exist together. You know how to heal, and you know how to fight. Su-Min stopped in front of a tall man with calm eyes. Major Jin-Ho Kang, former neurosurgeon, now military strategist, she said. You understand how the brain controls the body better than anyone. She moved to a woman with short, dark, hair and a scar on her cheek. Captain Yoon Ji-yoon, combat medic with more battlefield surgeries than any doctor in Earth's history. Next was a younger man whose eyes held a deep anger. Lieutenant Hyun-woo Ryu, biotechnology specialist. Your brother was a nurse on Nexus. Soo-min faced the entire group again. Each of you has lost someone. Each of you has saved lives and taken them. That's why you were chosen. She pressed a button on her wrist device and a large screen lit up on the wall. It showed detailed diagrams of alien bodies, Varan bodies. For 6 months, we have studied everything about the Varan. Their physiology, their pressure points, their weaknesses, things they don't even know about themselves. Soo-min's voice was cold and precise. We know exactly how to heal a Varan warrior, which means we also know exactly how to stop one. Dr. Park stepped forward. The Varan believe that medicine makes a species weak. They let injured warriors die instead of healing them. This means they have never developed a true understanding of their own bodies. But we have, Soo-min continued, and we will use that knowledge. She pressed another button, and part of the floor opened. A platform rose, carrying something covered by a large cloth. The Galactic Coalition calls us primitive, Soo-min said. The Varan call us weak, but humanity has something no other species has developed. A perfect understanding of the line between healing and harming. She pulled away the cloth, revealing a suit of armor unlike anything the recruits had seen. It was sleek and white, with blue lights glowing along its joints. On its back were 2 folded metal structures. This is the Azrael combat system, Soo-min said. Named after the angel of death from old Earth religions. The Varan targeted our medics because they feared our ability to heal. Now they will face something much worse, our ability to use that knowledge as a weapon. Captain Yoon Ji-yoon stepped forward. What are those structures on the back? Wings, Dr. Park answered. Not for flying, though they can help with short jumps. They contain medical systems, tactical equipment, and specialized tools. When deployed, they look like the wings of the angels from our myths. Death angels, Lieutenant Hyun-woo Ryu said quietly. That's what they'll call us. Soo-min nodded. Yes. And that name will spread fear through Varan space. 3 months later, Major Jin-ho Kang stood perfectly still as technicians secured his armor. The white plates fit his body like a second skin, designed to enhance his movements rather than restrict them. Neural connection established, a technician said. Medical systems online. Jin-ho felt the armor become part of him. Information flowed into his mind through the helmet's display. Heart rates, body temperatures, muscle tensions. He could see the life signs of everyone in the room. In another preparation area, Captain Yoon Ji-yoon was testing her armor's wings. The metal structures unfolded from her back with a soft hiss, extending 2 meters to each side. Specialized medical tools and tactical weapons were built into each segment. How does it feel? Dr. Park asked, checking the systems on a tablet. Like I'm carrying a complete hospital and arsenal on my back, Yoon-ji said. But lighter than I expected. The real test will be in combat, he said. Remember, your primary goal is not to kill, it's to disable with precision. Yoon-ji nodded. Hit them where it hurts, but leave them alive to spread the message. Exactly. Dr. Park's eyes were hard. Let them learn what happens when they target healers. In the command center, Colonel Soo-min Choi watched as the first squad of 6 Death Angels completed their preparation. For months, they had trained in the most intense program ever created, learning how to use their medical knowledge as a weapon. They knew how to strike nerve clusters to cause temporary paralysis. They understood how to disrupt balance systems without causing permanent damage. They could identify the weakest points in any alien physiology and target them with surgical precision. Admiral Tae-Wan Lee entered the room and stood beside her. Are they ready? As ready as they can be, Soo-min said. The armor works perfectly, the tactical systems exceed our expectations, but until they face real Varan in combat, we won't know for sure. That moment may come sooner than we planned, Admiral Lee said, his face grim. We've received intelligence that the Varen are planning to attack Outpost 37. Sumin turned to him sharply. The medical research station? Yes, their attacks on medical facilities have continued. They believe they're eliminating what they see as our weakness. The Admiral handed her a data pad. The outpost has requested emergency evacuation, but we won't get conventional forces there in time. Sumin studied the information, her mind quickly calculating possibilities. The Death Angels could deploy in 12 hours. We could use the stealth transport. It's risky, Admiral Lee said. They haven't been tested in real combat. The Varen have been testing us for 9 months, Sumin replied, her voice hard. It's time we showed them the results. She activated the station-wide communication system. All Death Angel personnel, report to Briefing Room Alpha immediately. This is not a drill. In the armory, Lieutenant Hyunwoo Ryu was the first to receive the message. He looked at the Varen anatomy diagram on the wall, thinking of his brother, who had died trying to save others on Nexus. It's time, he said to himself as he sealed his helmet. Within an hour, all 6 members of the 1st Death Angel squad were gathered in the briefing room. Colonel Choi stood before them, her face serious. Outpost 37 is about to be attacked, she said. It's a medical research station with 63 staff, including 12 human doctors. We believe the Varen will attack within 24 hours. Captain Hyun Ji-yoon, designated as squad leader, stepped forward. Mission parameters, Colonel? Protect the medical personnel. Neutralize the Varen forces. Sumin's eyes were cold. And send a message that will echo through their empire. Major Jinho. Kang checked his armor systems. Rules of engagement? Non-lethal takedowns when possible. We want survivors to tell the story. Colonel Choi displayed the station layout on the main screen. But make no mistake, this is not a mercy mission. The Varen need to learn what happens when they target those who heal. The 6 Death Angels stood in perfect formation, their white armor gleaming under the lights. On their shoulders was a new symbol, a medical cross with wings. Humanity has always had 2 sides, Colonel Choi said. We heal and we harm. The Varen thought they understood us. They were wrong. She looked at each of them, these warriors who had once been healers. Show them their mistake. Outpost 37 floated in space like a bright star. The medical research station was home to scientists from 12 different species. They worked together to find cures for diseases that affected the entire galaxy. Inside the station's main control room, Dr. Min-yu watched the emergency screens with growing fear. 3 Varen warships had appeared without warning. They were not responding to any messages. How long until they can board? She asked the security chief. 20 minutes, maybe less, he replied. We've sent distress calls, but no coalition ships are close enough. Dr. Min looked around at her staff. They were scientists and doctors, not fighters. Begin evacuation procedures. Get as many people to the escape pods as possible. But she knew many would not make it. The Varen had become experts at cutting off escape routes before attacking medical facilities. Dr. Min, called a young technician. There's another ship approaching. It's small, and it's not showing up on our main scanners. Min rushed to the screen. Human design, she said, feeling a small spark of hope. But I don't recognize the model. Inside the stealth transport, Captain Yoon Ji-yoon checked her squad one last time. 6 Death Angels stood ready, their white armor gleaming. Remember your training, she said. We are not here just to fight. We are here to send a message. Lieutenant Hyunwoo Ryu checked his medical systems. Varen life sign scanners are active. I'm tracking 47 boarding troops preparing to enter the station. Major Jinho Kang studied the station layout on his helmet display. They'll secure the central hub first, then move to the laboratories and medical bays. Then that's where we'll meet them, Yoonji said. The staff should be evacuating now. Our priority is to protect their retreat and show the Varen exactly what they've awakened. The transport docked silently at an emergency airlock on the far side of the station from the Varen ships. The Death Angels moved inside quickly, their boots making almost no sound on the metal floors. Life signs? Yoonji asked. Most of the station staff are moving toward the escape pods, Hyunwoo reported. The Varen are cutting through the main airlock now. Good, Yoonji said. Let's give them the welcome they deserve. Varen Commander Kraz led his boarding party through the airlock. His gray-scaled skin was marked with battle scars, showing his high rank. He had personally led 3 attacks on human medical ships. This station would be his 4th victory. Remember, target the research data first, then eliminate the medical staff, he ordered. No survivors this time. His soldiers moved forward, weapons ready, but something felt wrong. The station was too quiet. Central hub ahead, his second-in-command reported. Scanners show no movement. Kraz frowned. They should be running to the escape pods. Check your scanners again. As they entered the large circular hub at the center of the station, Kraz stopped suddenly. Standing in the middle of the room were 6 figures in strange white armor. They weren't moving, just waiting. What is this? He growled. Some kind of security force? One of the armored figures stepped forward. A female voice came from its helmet. Speakers. We are humanity's response, said Captain Yoonji Yoon. You have attacked our medics, now you face the consequences. Kraz laughed. 6 against 40? You humans are even more foolish than I thought. He raised his weapon. Kill them all. The Death Angels moved. Later, survivors would struggle to describe what they saw. The white-armored humans moved with impossible speed and precision. The metal structures on their backs unfolded like wings, filling the room with a soft blue light. Major Jin Ho Kang reached the first Varen soldier in less than 2 seconds. His armored hand struck a precise point on the alien's neck, and the Varen collapsed instantly, paralyzed but conscious. Lieutenant Hyunwoo Ryu moved through another group of soldiers. He didn't even strike them. He simply pressed small devices against their armor that released a gas targeted specifically to the Varen nervous system. They fell to their knees, unable to move their limbs. Across the room, 2 other Death Angels were disabling Varen with equally surgical precision. One used sound weapons that affected the Varen's sensitive inner ear, destroying their balance. Another targeted pressure points that human doctors had discovered during their studies of Varen physiology. Commander Kraz fired his weapon at Captain Yoonji, but her armor absorbed the blast. She moved toward him with terrifying calm. What are you? He growled, backing away. We are what you created, she replied. You attacked our healers because you thought it made us weak. Her armored hand moved faster than he could follow, striking a nerve cluster in his shoulder. His right arm went numb instantly. But you forgot something important about humans, she continued, striking another point that made his left leg collapse. Those who know how to heal also know exactly how to hurt. Within 5 minutes, the entire Varen boarding party was disabled. None were dead, but all were completely helpless, many unable to move, others unable to speak or see clearly. Kraz lay on the floor, his body refusing to obey his commands. He could only watch as the Death Angels moved among his fallen soldiers. And then came the most terrifying part. The armored humans began treating the wounded. They applied emergency medical care to the Varen, who had been injured during the brief fight, using the same precise knowledge they had used to disable them. Why? Kraz managed to ask as Captain Eunji knelt beside him. Why not kill us? Because that's not the message we want to send, she replied, injecting him with a clear fluid. The paralysis will wear off in 12 hours. The memory of what happened here will not. She stood and addressed all the conscious Varen. Tell your leaders what you saw today. Tell them that humans can disable you with surgical precision and save your lives with the same skill. Tell them that we chose to let you live so you could deliver this warning. The metal wings on her back folded partially as she leaned closer to Kraz. And tell them that if they ever target our medical personnel again, next time we won't be so merciful. Dr. Min Yu couldn't believe what she was seeing on the security feeds. 6 armored humans had defeated an entire Varen boarding party in minutes. Who are they? She asked the security chief. Before he could answer, the door to the control room opened. One of the white armored figures entered. Dr. Min, said Lieutenant Hyunwoo, removing his helmet. I'm Lieutenant Ryu. We're here to evacuate you and your staff. But the Varen ships are no longer a threat, he finished. They're retreating. Their boarding party has been neutralized. Dr. Min looked at his strange armor, at the folded metal structures on his back. What are you called? We are the Death Angels, he replied, and this is just the beginning. As the human medical ship arrived to evacuate the station, news of what had happened spread quickly. Security footage showing the 6 white-armored humans defeating the Varen was transmitted across Coalition space. On their retreating ship, Commander Kraz still couldn't move his limbs. He watched recordings of the battle over and over, trying to understand what had happened. How? He asked the ship's doctor. How did they know exactly where to strike us? How did they know our weaknesses so perfectly? The doctor, a position of little respect in Varen culture, looked at him with unusual confidence. Because they are healers, Commander. They have studied our bodies to learn how to save us. Now they have used that knowledge to defeat us. For the first time in centuries, fear spread through the Varen military. Fear of humans in white armor with wings like ancient death spirits. Fear of an enemy who could disable instead of kill, who showed mercy that felt more terrifying than death. Fear of the Death Angels. 2 months had passed since the incident at Outpost 37. The recording of 6 Death Angels defeating 47 Varen soldiers had spread throughout the galaxy. Some called it fake. Others refused to believe that humans had developed such technology. The Varen Supreme Command knew better. This cannot stand, growled High Commander Drax, pounding his fist on the metal table. These humans have made us look weak. The Varen War Council chamber was dark, lit only by red lights that cast long shadows across the scaled faces of the 12 commanders. The reports from Commander Kraz are disturbing, said Strategy Master Vex. The humans did not kill our soldiers. They disabled them with some kind of targeted strikes. Then they treated their injuries. That is the greatest insult, Drax said, treating our warriors like helpless children. An older Varen with faded scales leaned forward. Perhaps we should reconsider our approach. These Death Angels clearly possess knowledge of our physiology that we did not expect. Retreat? Drax's voice was dangerous. You suggest retreat? Elder Torque? I suggest caution, the Elder replied. Our campaign against human medical facilities was based on the belief that their healing knowledge made them weak in battle. This has proven false. Drax stood, his tall frame towering over the others. No, we will not show weakness. We will escalate. He activated a display showing a blue-green planet. New Sol, humanity's largest colony, home to their most advanced medical training facilities. We will crush it completely. Elder Torque's eyes widened. That colony has 4 million humans. This would mean full-scale war with Earth. Then let it be war, Drax said. Prepare the fleet. We attack in 3 days. On Earth, Admiral Taewon Lee received the intelligence report with a grim face. They're planning to attack New Sol, he told Colonel Sumin Choi. A full invasion force. They stood in the command center of the Death Angel facility on Europa. Around them, screens showed training exercises and equipment tests. How many ships? Sumin asked. 20 warships, thousands of troops. The Admiral looked up from the report. This isn't a raid. It's an invasion. Sumin's face hardened. They're targeting New Sol because of its medical schools. Yes. The Varen are doubling down on their strategy despite what happened at Outpost 37. Admiral Lee shook his head. They refuse to learn. How many Death Angels are ready for deployment? He asked. 50 squads, 300 total. Sumin checked a display showing the status of each team. All fully trained, all equipped with the latest armor. Admiral Lee nodded slowly. Deploy them all. I'll bring the fleet to support them, but it will take time to gather our ships. The Death Angels need to hold the line until we arrive. 300 against thousands, Sumin said quietly. But we have surprise on our side. The Varen don't know how many Death Angels we have. And they don't know what they're truly capable of. The Admiral added, it's time to show them. 3 days later, the sky above New Sol filled with Varen warships. They appeared suddenly, dropping out of faster-than-light travel directly over the capital city. On the ground, Civilians ran for the underground shelters. New Seoul had been built with defense in mind, but no one had expected such a massive attack. Governor Jun Kim watched from the emergency command center as the first Varan landing ships descended. Where are our defenses? Where is Earth's response? If answering his question, bright streaks appeared in the sky. 50 small craft entering the atmosphere, burning through the clouds like falling stars. "The Death Angels," whispered his aide. "They're here." Across the city, people watched as the transport ships deployed their cargo. White armored figures dropped from the sky, their metal wings catching the sunlight as they slowed their descent. 300 Death Angels landed in strategic positions throughout the city. To anyone watching, it looked like angels were falling from heaven. Colonel Soo-min Choi landed in the central plaza, leading her squad. Her wings folded as she stood, facing the approaching Varan ground forces. "All squads report," she said into her helmet communicator. "Alpha Squad in position at the medical center," reported Captain Yoon Ji-yoon. "Beta Squad securing the evacuation routes." Major Jin Ho Kang's voice came next. "Gamma Squad at the spaceport perimeter," added Lieutenant Hyun Woo Ryu. Each squad leader reported in, all in position to protect the city's most critical areas. Soo-min opened a channel to all Death Angels at once. "The Varan have come to destroy our healing centers," she said. "Show them what happens when they threaten human medicine. Show them what happens when they forget that those who know how to save lives also know exactly how to take them." The first Varan troops appeared at the end of the plaza, hundreds of soldiers in dark armor. They moved with confidence, expecting little resistance. They were wrong. The Death Angels attacked with precision that shocked even their creators. The Siu Varan had studied the footage from Outpost 37 and prepared defenses against the pressure point strikes and nerve attacks. But the humans had anticipated this. New tactics were deployed. Some Death Angels used targeted electromagnetic pulses that disrupted the Varan's natural electrical sensing organs. Others used sound frequencies that affected their inner ear balance systems. Some used microscopic darts that delivered temporary paralytic compounds designed specifically for Varan biology. At the medical center, Captain Yoon Ji-yoon's squad faced the heaviest attack. The Varan had sent their elite forces to destroy the facility. "They really hate doctors, don't they?" Yoonji said as she disabled 3 Varan soldiers with a single sweeping movement. "They fear what they don't understand," replied her teammate as he treated a wounded civilian. That was the scene most captured in recordings that day. Death Angels fighting with one hand and healing with the other. Defending the medical centers, while demonstrating exactly why those centers made humanity so formidable. The battle raged for 3 days. The Death Angels could not be everywhere at once, and parts of the city suffered heavy damage. But they held the most critical areas, the hospitals, the medical schools, the evacuation centers. On the 3rd day, Admiral Tae-Wan Lee arrived with Earth's response fleet. The Varan ships in orbit were caught by surprise. They had committed most of their forces to the ground, never expecting the Death Angels to hold out so long. From the command ship, Admiral Lee watched the battle displays with grim satisfaction. "Status of the Death Angels?" he asked. "Still operational, sir," his aide reported. "Casualty rate under 15%. They've inflicted thousands of Varan casualties, most non-lethal as ordered." The Admiral nodded. "And the city?" "Major damage to the outer districts, but the medical infrastructure is intact. The Death Angels protected it exactly as planned." On the surface, Colonel Soo-min Choi watched as the Varan forces began to retreat. Her armor was damaged, one wing partially broken, but she still stood. "They're pulling back," she reported to Admiral Lee. "Shall we pursue?" "Negative," the Admiral replied. "Let them retreat. But I want you to do one thing first." "Sir, I'm sending down the captured Varan commanders. Show them what they tried to destroy." Hours later, 5 Varan commanders stood under guard in New Seoul's largest hospital. Colonel Choi had removed her helmet but still wore her damaged armor as she led them through the wards. "This is what you sought to destroy," she explained, showing them rooms full of patients, humans and aliens both, including wounded Varen soldiers. The ability to heal, to save lives regardless of species. The commanders watched in silence as human doctors treated everyone with equal care. Your culture teaches that healing the injured makes a species weak, Suman continued. But look, around you. We can keep fighting when injured because we know we will be healed. We can take risks in battle because we trust our medics. She stopped before a window where they could see death angels helping doctors treat Varen wounded. Most importantly, our medical knowledge gives us power you never considered. Her voice hardened. You mistook compassion for weakness. That was your greatest error. As the Varen fleet retreated from New Sol, they left behind thousands of injured soldiers. To their shock, the humans established field hospitals that treated enemy wounded alongside human casualties. Many Varen soldiers, experiencing actual medical care for the first time rather than their culture's survive or die approach, began to question their leader's wisdom. The word spread quickly. The Death Angels of Earth were more terrifying than any enemy they had faced, not because they killed without mercy, but because they fought without hate and healed without prejudice. The tide of the war had turned. 2 months after the Battle of New Sol, the galaxy had changed. The Varen Empire, once feared by all, faced something new: internal conflict. On the Varen colony world of Krath, Governor Shar stood before an angry crowd. Unlike most Varen leaders, his scales were unmarked by battle scars. He had risen through civil service rather than combat. The High Command does not speak for all Varen, he shouted to the crowd. They attacked human medical facilities without understanding what they were destroying, without understanding what they would awaken. The crowd roared in agreement. Many held pictures of family members who had been wounded in the New Sol attack, family members who now lived because of human medical care. For generations we have let our wounded die, Governor Shar continued. We called it strength, but the humans showed us a different kind of strength. The strength to heal, the strength to save lives. Across Varen space, similar protests were happening on 5 different colony worlds. The war had revealed something. Many Varen had secretly questioned but never dared speak aloud. Perhaps their survive or die culture was wrong. In the war room on Earth, Admiral Taewon Lee studied the reports with a thoughtful expression. 6 Varen colonies have requested ceasefires, he told the gathered military leaders. They're asking for medical assistance. Their own wounded from New Sol have returned home and told others what they experienced. President Wilson nodded. And the Varen High Command? Still officially at war with us, the Admiral replied. But they've stopped their attacks. Our intelligence suggests they're facing significant internal pressure. Dr. June Park, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. We should send medical ships to the colonies that have requested help, not death angels. Real doctors. Admiral Lee looked at him with surprise. You want to help the Varen after what they did at Nexus? After they killed Hana? June's eyes were sad but clear. Yes, because that's what Hana would have wanted. That's what all our doctors who died would have wanted. To heal, not to harm. The room was silent for a long moment. He's right, Colonel Su-Min Choi said. She had been appointed to the Joint Chiefs of Staff after New Sol. The Death Angels were created to protect our healers. Now it's time to let our healers do what they do best. President Wilson considered this. Will the Death Angels still be needed? Yes, Admiral Lee said firmly, as protection for the medical ships, as a reminder that we can defend what we value. But Dr. Park is right. We need to lead with healing hands, not armored fists. 3 weeks later, on the neutral world of Harmonium, representatives from Earth and the Varen Empire met for peace talks. The large conference room was divided by a long table. On one side sat the humans, on the other, the Varen. Dr. June Park led the human delegation. Beside him sat Lieutenant Hyunwoo Ryu, now a commander in the Death Angel Corps. He wore his white armor but kept his helmet off, showing his human face. Across from them sat the Varen Supreme Commander Drax. His normally proud posture was slightly stooped, as if carrying a heavy weight. Beside him was a Varen wearing the insignia of their medical corps, a position previously considered unimportant. "I am authorized to speak for the Varen High Command," Drax began, his voice solemn. "We request a formal end to hostilities between our peoples." June nodded. "Earth is willing to discuss peace terms. We have no desire for continued conflict." Drax looked at the Death Angel armor that Hyunwoo wore. "We misunderstood your species fundamentally," he admitted. "We saw your dedication to healing as a limitation in warfare. We failed to recognize that your medical knowledge also gave you unparalleled understanding of how to incapacitate rather than kill. A mistake many species make when they first encounter humans," June said. "We are complex. We can be both gentle and terrible, both healers and warriors." The Varen medical officer spoke next. Her voice was softer than most Varen. "The wounded soldiers who returned from New Seoul have changed our society. Many are questioning our traditional ways. They speak of human doctors who saved their lives when our own culture would have left them to die." Hyunwoo leaned forward. "On Earth we have a saying, 'The enemy of my enemy is my friend.' But we also believe that the healer of my enemy can become my friend." Over the next 3 days, the two delegations worked out a peace treaty. The terms were surprisingly simple. Earth would establish medical academies in Varen space, teaching their civilization the healing arts they had long neglected. In return, the Death Angels would be maintained, but repurposed as rapid response medical units for galactic disasters. On the final day, Supreme Commander Drax approached Dr. Park privately. "There is something I must know," he said. "At New Seoul, your Death Angels could have killed thousands of our soldiers. Why did they choose not to?" June looked at the aged warrior. "Because the purpose of medicine is to preserve life, not take it. The Death Angels were created to protect that principle, not betray it. Even the lives of your enemies? Especially the lives of our enemies," June replied. "That is the hardest test of our principles." Drax was silent for a long moment. "Your wife was killed at Nexus. I authorized that attack. Yet you negotiated peace instead of demanding vengeance." "My wife was a doctor," June said simply. "She would have wanted healing, not more death." The Varen commander bowed his head in a gesture of deep respect. "Then she was truly strong, in a way my people are only beginning to understand." 1 year later, a new memorial stood at the site of the Nexus massacre. Thousands gathered for its unveiling, humans, Varen, and representatives from throughout the Galactic Coalition. The monument showed 2 figures standing back to back. One was a human in medical scrubs holding surgical instruments. The other was a Death Angel in full armor holding a medical scanner. Dr. June Park stood before it, looking up at the face of the medical figure which had been modeled after Hana. The air was warm, filled with the scent of alien flowers planted around the memorial site. Colonel Soo-min Choi, still wearing her Death Angel armor, though peace had held for a year, came to stand beside him. She removed her helmet, letting the sunlight touch her face. "Do you think we did the right thing?" she asked quietly. "Which part?" June asked. "All of it. The Death Angels. The way we fought. The peace." June considered this. "I think we showed the galaxy something important about humanity. That our greatest strength isn't our ability to destroy, but our commitment to preserve life, even when it's difficult." Soo-min looked up at the monument. The inscription carved into its base read, "To heal is human. To protect those who heal is to understand humanity." "We became what the galaxy needed," she said. "Not just warriors, not just healers, but a reminder that protecting life requires understanding it completely." Around them, the crowd included many Varen. Some were military, others were civilians. Most notably, several wore the new insignia of Varen medical officers, a rank that had grown in importance and respect since the war ended. Young Varen children listened to their parents explain what the monument meant. They were the first generation who would grow up with proper medical care, who would not be left to die if injured or sick. "Look," June said, pointing to a group of human doctors teaching a class of Varen medical students nearby. Sumin smiled. From death angels to teaching angels. That's the true victory, June said. Not that we defeated them, but that we changed them. And perhaps they changed us too. A Varan approached them. Elder Torque from the War Council, one of the few who had questioned the attacks from the beginning. Dr. Park, he said with formal respect, I bring news. The last of the old guard has stepped down. Varan medical science is now given equal standing with military affairs. That is good to hear, June replied. There is something else, Elder Torque added. The first Varan hospital ship has been commissioned. They have named it. He paused as if finding it difficult to speak. They have named it the Hana Kim. June felt tears in his eyes but did not try to hide them. On Earth, crying had once been seen as weakness. Now the galaxy was learning that it could also be strength. Throughout the stars, the message spread. Targeting Earth's medics had been the Varans' greatest mistake. It had not revealed human weakness as they expected. Instead, it had shown the galaxy the full spectrum of human capability, shaped by millennia of both healing and warfare. Humanity had earned not just fear, but something more valuable. Respect. And as the Death Angels transitioned from warriors to guardians of medical missions throughout space, they carried with them the lesson that had cost so much to learn. That the same hands that could heal could also harm, but chose healing whenever possible. This was humanity's true power.